Hi friends, and welcome back in. Welcome to the mat, and happy Monday, everybody. Oh my goodness. You guys, can you believe it's a couple days till Christmas? I just really don't know where the time goes, yet here we are. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get into what we're making today. I have some design inspiration for all of you amazing, beautiful beaders and designers out there. And I'm still in the makings of my Mistletoe Magic Bag, and I'm in a green and red palette today. I really think that this is just obviously so beautiful, so holiday-ish, so Christmassy. It's just beautiful, and I love Lariats. If you've been around my channel for any kind of time, any amount of time, you know that I've made many Lariats. I make them in a lot of different versions, and I love chain. I incorporate a lot of chain in my design aesthetic. And this is going to be no exception because we're going to be doing some chain, but we're up in our game with some festivity with this cute starling chain I have. So I've got most of the beads from the Mistletoe Magic Bag. And then I do have a few things from my stash. We'll go through it in a minute. But here's the thing, guys, is you can do anything you want with the Lariat. And that's why I love them so much. And I just want to mention, right, that you know, friends, Lariats are an amazing, beautiful piece of jewelry. They have been around for decades. And because there's just endless ways. It's such a wonderful style of necklace for you to really express your individuality, your design aesthetic, your creativity, personalize it. You can make them any length you want. You can style them so many ways. They're just beautiful. So when you are doing a lasso, friends, go ahead and bead up whatever length you're going to bead and get all your beads on, right? Put a bead stopper on one side, right? So you don't lose all your beads as you're going, okay? And then when you feel like you're done with your pattern, like your full pattern here, right? Throughout your full necklace, and you want to do a lasso, what you're going to do is what I've done right here is see right here where I have my crimp tube right here, right? And the reason I'm using that in the magical crimper is because that's going to turn that into a round bead. And like my spacers here throughout, it's just going to become part of the design. You'll never even notice it's a crimp. And then I took some of the 3mm, and that's what you'll want to do is you'll want to use some smaller beads. So a 2, 3, or 4mm at the absolute max. I typically recommend using a 3mm on the lasso portion. Okay, and so then what we're going to do is we would put on a crimp. So you'd feed on a crimp and then feed on however many little beads you want to create your lasso, right? And before you stop beading and get ready to crimp up, what you do is just turn around your beads and lay this piece of wire close to your crimp here. And that's how you can determine how big or small you want your lasso. And that's just, again, total aesthetic, a design preference. You can make these lassos as big, you know, or small as you want. Just know that your beads and your pattern should kind of be in balance with the size of your lasso. And I have 6mm going out through the entire design at the max. I do have some 3s and 4s in here, but 6mm bicones, rondelles is what I've used throughout. And so I have this big of a lasso, right? And therefore my 6mm will fit through that. And so I have fed on 5 red, a green, and then 7 red, a green, and then 5 more red, okay? And so that's how we do the lasso. And in order to complete the lasso, we just go ahead and take our tail of our beading wire. We're going to feed it through that crimp, right? And then we're going to go ahead and pull it down, okay? And now this is what we're going to have, okay? Just like that, we're going to push that crimp bead right on up there. We're going to make sure that our wires are not crossed. Was it right this way? Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Make sure our wires are not crossed, okay? And then we'll go ahead and crimp that. And do you see what I mean, friends? What I'm talking about? Because these beads are going to vie for attention.
when you're crimping off your lasso. So you want them to be as small as you want. So I'd recommend, like I said, a 2 or 3 millimeter. You can get away with a 4 millimeter, but it'll be a little bit more off like this. So once I pull this up, we are going to be good. Now, however, before I crimp this, what I am going to do is, because this lasso portion, right, it's designed to slide up and down my necklace. Before I crimp this off, because it will not completely come through, is I am going to put my Chinese knot connector through, right, and make sure that when I'm holding my lasso here, that this can go through. Okay, now if you don't want it to go through, you can make it smaller, whatever you're dangling on the end. It's a completely just in a design aesthetic, lots of ways. So I am taking the largest item I have, which is this Chinese knot connector. I'm holding my lasso tight where the crimp is, and I'm going like this, pushing it through just to make sure that it will go through, and it will. Okay, and now that I can see that that's all snug as a bug, we're going to go ahead and let's crimp it off. So we will have one side of our lariat complete. So we will start with finishing off the lasso portion first. So I'm just, okay. And so now this is our lasso portion. Pull you up. Okay. And now we are going to go ahead and pull everything down. And we are going to put that to the side for a second, and we're going to finish up our bottom here. And so this is just, again, totally, you know, freedom of design, do whatever you want. But what I've opted to do, I thought it'd be kind of fun here, is I've taken my Chinese knot connector, and again, these are kind of cool because, you know, you can put them any way, that's either direction you want. So I've laid it down, and I grabbed some of my Starlink chain, and I'm putting right on this one. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these bottom 5 little loops, I'm putting a piece of chain. I'm adding the chain with an oval jump ring, okay? And then I am wire wrapping my little dangles to pick up some of the beads in the necklace right there on the bottom. But I'm doing it in a bit of a cascading effect. So let me pull you down so you can see what I'm doing here, and we shall finish this up together. Okay, so I have 3 beads, so I'm using a green, one of the transparent red, and a 3mm red on each of my dangles. And notice how each dangle is dropping a different length. Okay, so these two right here for these 2 loops, they are the same. This one's a little shorter, so I'll match this one on this end up here, and then this one in the center will be a little bit longer. So easy part is we're just going to grab a couple of jump rings here. And the reason I like to use ovals, it's going to help to keep them on there, right? Less chance of them falling off. So I am going to just grab a couple pair of pliers here. And we are going to add our chain right there on that jump ring. And then I'll go ahead and add that jump ring right there to my connector. We'll close that up nice and snug. And then I am going to, because that's my middle now, right? I am going to, those are 2 sides, and this is the other side. Now I am going to make sure this is straight, kind of pull all these chain links down. And then I am going to pull this one down. And then I'm going to go, it looks like I went 2 stars longer than the one before it on this first one. So that's what I'll do here. So where that bead ends is right here. I'll go 2 stars longer, which is right here. And then I'll just simply cut my chain. It's star and oval link chain, so you can cut these little ovals in between. So that's kind of handy dandy. And then we need to put a piece over here, which that's not going to be big enough. So let me grab some more chain here. And we'll put this last piece on with jump ring. And just dropped it. Where'd she go? There it is. And I'm going to match that one up with the one on the other side on the same loop on the opposite side here. So I'm going to add that to this end loop here. We'll close that up, and then I'll cut this one the same size as this one on the opposite side. Okay, so there we go. Let's get this all dangling correctly here. Okay, so I'm going to cut this link the same as this link over here. So those dangle the exact same. And it looks like where's my cutters? There they are. So it looks like it's right here. And you know, I try to do a little bit this on camera with you guys, but obviously you might want to consider cutting your links, you know, before you add them on so that you know they're all even. It's easier that way. But that's okay. We're just about got that all situated. So there we go. And now I will just make my dangles doing some simple wire wrapped loops here on our ball end head puns. And again, I will match up my design. So over here on this last one, I have a green, a red, and a little baby red. And so we'll just do a green, red, and baby red, 3mm. And I'm just making really, really small loops here. So I'll just put my bent nose right on top, put a right bend. We'll go ahead and put our round nose in. I'm going to make as small as loop as I can, so right at the edge of my round nose there. And we'll just pull that up and over, move our pliers away, push that wire to the back, and then open that loop up, and then we will grab that last link of chain there and let that fall right in our loop and wire wrap that right to that chain. And get rid of that piece that I cut off, didn't want to fall off. There we go. Okay. And so now we have that loop and the chain right there inside our loop. We can go ahead and close that loop. And now we will hold that little loop there and wrap that around, close that up, fill up that little gap, usually 2-3 times does it. And I've been doing clean wraps. You can do clean wraps, messy wraps, whatever you want. I have been doing clean wraps on the bottom piece here. So there's 3. And then we'll just trim that off. And tuck that in. And there we go. So that's all nice and secure on there. And then we'll do our last one, so there's my little piece of French wire. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fish that off my mat, right, and slide it right on my wire. Okay, you see that? These little coils. We'll let that drop down. And now we're going to go ahead and put the wire through the top of our connector here. Okay, and now I am coming back and around. I'm going to keep you down the mat while I finish this up. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back around with my tail, go over the French wire, and go back to my crimp. And that first bicone. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull my tail. And here is my connector, right? Here's my tail. Watch what happens as I go ahead and start to pull this tail. Okay, do you see what's happening? Let me get my hands out of the way and show you. See the French wire right here? So as I'm pulling my tail, it's just gonna come around in a loop, just like that. You see it? What's happening there? It's coming all the way down. Just as pretty as can be. And now the connector, the knot connector, will be right there on that. And it'll take the brunt of it. But look what a pro finish that is. So pretty. Let me pull you up now that I showed you that on close-up mode. And here's how I finish off my lariats, guys. I always coil them like a snake because, look, we've got gaps and we've got to get rid of those gaps. So what we do is just lay our lariat down where we've already finished off the lasso. And then we will just go ahead, like, let gravity get involved and kind of just coil it like a snake in a circle any way you can. And that's going to continue to get rid of your gaps. See my wire now? The gaps are coming to the top. But you want to have a lot of fluidity and movement in a lariat. So there we go. And now I'm at the end, and I'll go ahead and let me pull that. Okay. And let me put you back down. So now I've got all the gaps out of my necklace. Okay. And we will go ahead and crimp that off right there. And so we'll just put the magical crimper right over that tube. Go ahead and give that a nice squeeze, and then we'll turn it round and round until that turns from a bead to a tube, or from a tube to a bead, and becomes disappeared as part of our design. Nobody will ever know. And this finishing is beautiful on a lariat, especially something so sparkly and, you know, holiday. It's very sparkly, really makes a statement. It's just beautiful. It's just a real beautiful statement looking lariat. That French wire at my finishing here, the magical crimper, all these things are really helping to make this look like a real pro finish, like you just bought it right out of the store. Trim our excess wire there, and let me show you, that's what I have there at the end. See how pretty that French wire is? And I'll pull you up, and we are all done, my friends. Get things out of the way. And we are all done. And there is a fun, festive, inspirational, I hope, inspires you guys. And that's what we have. And that's what our lariat looks like. Isn't that just beautiful? Look at all that drama and situation going on down here. It's just absolutely stunning. And, you know, again, I'll try to get most of it in camera here for you. So what we can do is we can drop all of this chain in here with all these rondelles, and now there is that knot connector, and it fits just perfectly through. So there's not too much slack. It's really a nice, good fit. And we can slide that through. And now, of course, we can wear this, you know, that lasso will slide up and down, so you can wear it like a choker. You could wear it down like this, you know, wear it longer, and then to wear all of this dramatic situation is, you know, laying down. Can't hardly get it all on camera. Down here, right? You could, if you want, put this back through a second time. There's just literally a million and one ways. You don't even have to put your lasso through. You can literally tie it, guys. You could also just lay it like a scarf. So you could tie it, wear it like this. So beautiful. You could also just wear it just like this. Do absolutely nothing else to it. Could also wrap it around your neck once, right? Like that. And so this would be more of like a choker. And then you can put the lasso. So like this would be around your neck twice. And then you can put your knot connector through your lasso and wear it like this, where it's up higher. And it would kind of lay like this, and you could layer something else around. Just a million and one things. I hope you guys enjoyed today's inspiration. We'll see you in the next video. Until next time, friends, be blessed.